Thank you, Mike. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I give you all a big salute for getting up this early in the morning on the darkest day of the year. I'm going to share my screen. And start this PowerPoint in just a moment. So the question is, who am I? It's a question we all ask ourselves. To me, it is the deepest question that we can ask ourselves. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Who Am I by Jackie Chan, but he stands there and looks up to the universe and he says, "Who am I?" It's a very deep, profound question that we all should ask ourselves. Who am I on the surface level? My name is Brody Miller, as you know. I'm 33 years young. And at the moment, I'm studying natural medicine. That's who I am on the surface. But underneath that, there's something that's much deeper. This was me about 6.5 years ago. I was laying on the hospital bed and doctors were like, "Mr. Miller, we need to cut into your brain." The reason was because I was having grand mal seizures on a regular basis. And that medicine wasn't working. So doctors need to try a new avenue to help myself. What I had is in this picture you can see was called a cavernous malformation. And this malformation, as you can see here in the screen, it was leaking blood into the rest of my brain, and it was in the left frontal lobe. And the left frontal lobe is a very important part of our brain, which I'm going to discuss with you all later. But due to those grand mal seizures, I had difficulty expressing myself. I had difficulty talking to people. Even completing a simple sentence was a struggle for me at the time. However, I found Toastmasters, and I'm so incredibly grateful for Toastmasters because it's allowed me to rewire my brain through the process of neuroplasticity. But I'm going to be talking about stress and what is stress. So we have two forms of stress that you can think of. We have toxic stress and we have eustress. And eustress is positive stress. Without stress, we could never evolve and change and get better. So here's just some basic brain stuff. Excuse me, let me go back. So right here, we have the neocortex, and this was where my malformation was. And it's known for, I call it the Einstein brain, because it's your greatest thinking, it's your logic, it controls your impulses, it controls your ability to maneuver and think in terms of past and future. Under it, we have the limbic brain, which is called the emotional brain. And this is a lot of where our animals are very emotional because they don't have a large neocortex. They use their limbic brain, and that, think of your dog. However, underneath that, we all have the reptilian brain or instinctual brain that when it gets stressed, all of the blood flow goes into this area. And that is a dangerous thing when you think about it, because a lot of humans become violent, we become instinctual, protective. And that I also call the Frankenstein brain, because Frankenstein comes out instead of Einstein. So here's a little bit deeper into some of the mechanics of the brain and the response within the body. So this is the hypothalamus. So we get sensory stimuli through our nose or any other of our systems, such as hearing, smell. We get some sensory stimuli, right? And it goes to the hypothalamus. And from there, it goes to the pituitary gland, which secretes the hormone ACTH, which go to our adrenals. And from our adrenals, it secretes the hormone cortisol, which if we have too much of that, that can be a very dangerous thing and cause us to have adrenal fatigue and to be tired. So these are a lot of the things I learned along the process of trying to heal myself. And speaking of stress, there's something that's called the hormesis effect. And the hormesis effect is really awesome, and it can be applied to many aspects of life, not only stress. For example, if you drink too much water, it can create toxicity in your body. But if you drink just the right amount of water, that's a wonderful thing. And the same thing applies to exercise or many other things, stress included. Too much stress can be toxic, is the main point I'm trying to get across. So what can you do? Meditation saved my life, guys. And I'm not, I do have to speed up the speech, but meditation and breathing. What I attribute it to is that I had this injury in the prefrontal cortex, but I was getting blood flow into the prefrontal cortex, allowing neuroplasticity to occur, which improved my impulse control, my decision-making, my logic, my planning, the ability to speculate and reasoning, my Einstein ability that we all have. So brain scans show that in only 56 days of practicing meditation, that the physical structure of your brain will change. Think about that. 56 days, guys. We can all do that. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Toastmasters. I know my time is up.